Hey, welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. If you were on before, I had really horrible internet connection and the connection just dropped, so my apologies. So, if you're new to this channel, know that this is a shadow healing channel. So, I do look and see what's going to happen within your relationships. The focus is on what spiritual triggers you have, what spiritual triggers your person has, and how they play out karmically, and what you can do to balance the situation out. And the reason why is because a lot of times we're connected to a soulmate, twin flame, past life, karmic, mate, whatever you want to call it. It's a soul family, and it's one where the person feels like home. There's a lot of chemistry. We already know they're supposed to be in our life somehow, but they trigger the shit out of us. So we really, what people want is they want to be in a happy relationship. People wind up having intimacy issues, and intimacy issues start as trust issues. And over time, when there's major trust issues, obviously there's major bedroom issues, because you definitely don't want to sleep with someone and be that intimate with someone that you don't trust. So, or if you are someone that says, well, I'm someone that tends to be with someone that I don't trust, I go for emotionally not available people, well, then you also have an intimacy issue, whether you know it or not. Just because you may say, well, I don't have a problem in the bedroom, I have a problem. Well, relationships are something that happen over time. And in today's day and age, what I notice is a lot of times people get in relationships and it's all hot and heavy and it's passionate and it's great. And over time, obviously, things happen, triggers happen, and it never really gets worked through. And then what happens is, if the relationship was something that was really close, like we really wanted it to work out, and it didn't work out, then we tend to wind up back in the same type of situation, so attracting the same type of person, living the same karmic theme. So that's why I like to do these type of readings, because whether you're tuning in to find out about what your person's going to do, why they're going to do it, what how they feel, and you want to know why they feel the way that they feel. If there's somebody that again loves you but hates you, again, we're talking about spiritual wounds, we're talking about shadows, we're talking about spiritual blocks. And how do those blocks play out? Well, they play out within behaviorisms, within habits. So you may be someone that says, oh, I really want to be in a relationship, I really want to be in a relationship, but you can't manifest a relationship. And you may say, well, it's not me, it's the people that come to me. I don't have control. Well, that goes against spiritual law, because you're actually a spiritual being having a human experience. So you're actually God in physical form. You're an expression of God. Your spirit is an expression of God. See, you're actually, your soul is an expression of God. Your spirit is your individuality. That is who you perceive you are. That's all about your hobbies, your interests, your passions. Again, what makes up your essence. But your soul is connected to God, and so you have the power of God. You are a divine being. So if you can't have a relationship, it's something that you're doing. And again, your energy is of thought and emotion, right? We're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. How does ESP work? Through mind and heart. How does a past life soulmate recognize each other? How does any soul relationship recognize? Is I feel like you're familiar. Why is that? It's because, again, I recognize the energy, the energetic language, and understand. Even Helen Keller, someone that was deaf, blind, mute, there was an energy. She could feel the energy, and that's how groundbreaking, to the point that I'm talking about her. because there's a spirit part of self. That's a supernatural part of self that allows us to be able to create our heaven on earth, to be able to get our daily bread. So if you are someone that has problems with money, you want to know what's blocking you. You might say, I know what the problem is. I grew up in a home and that's all that I saw. You have to create a new neurological pathway. You have to create a new habit. But you can't do that without awareness. Well, that's why I like to do these type of readings. All right. Now, if you're new to my channel, give me a like. Subscribe to the channel and write the word of the day. The word of the day always comes from my Psychic Soul Healer deck, made for healing the shadow aspects of ourselves. 68 cards in the deck, titled under Transpersonal Psychology, helping you to transcend the limitations of your ego. Again, there's the ego part of self, which is the dust part of self, that you look in the mirror, you say, this is who I am, but that's not really who you are. You are a spirit part of self, and the spirit part of self is God part of self that you and I are connected to right now. It's felt. It's not, doesn't logically make sense. That's why you may say, why do I like this person that I never liked. They're not my type, but I like them. Why? Why is that? I don't know. I like their energy. So anyway, the word of the day is going to be, oh, look, the gift of style. The gift of style. This is a good card, and I'm going to tell you why. The gift of style is all about creating yourself. And that comes from doing. Mastery comes in doing. We're all David going up against Goliath. God says, please don't do my job, do your job. Be like childlike. Find your passion. Jesus Christ died for your passion for life. Where's your passion for life? You have to find your passion. So again, let's keep this card out and see how that energy is influencing your reading. This is actually very positive energy. Like I said, the gift of style is all about your unique individuality. A lot of times, if we're looking at this from a shadow perspective, we have to say a lot of people weren't allowed to create themselves. If we were born into a very strict, rigid home, one that told us how to be, what would be successful. And understand it's not a blame game. We are understanding so that we can raise our vibration, so we can look at it through a different perception, which is how it allows us to change the vibration of the situation. Because right now, if we're looking at it, we're like, well, because this person was an asshole. Again, negative vibration, we don't want to have that, even though we may feel that way. We have to integrate that energy. In order to transmute the negative energy, we have to see it from a higher perspective. So again, if I am going to say, how is this energy influencing? Well, let's go either way. And it's the gift of style is all about your unique individuality, creating yourself. And if you weren't allowed to create yourself, you weren't allowed to find yourself. And if you weren't allowed to find yourself, it means that other people told you what to be, again, what was successful, and people do things out of love. That's why, again, from a higher perspective, spirit only looks at the intention. Was the intention to be bad? No, most families, again, parents do the best that they can. They love. Everybody loves their unique way. So you may say, I grew up in a family that didn't express love because through verbalizing. They did things for me, where someone else might say, well, I had someone that always told me how much they loved me, but their actions never aligned with that. Sometimes we grow up in a family where we were told that, but we didn't feel supported. So again, it's not a blame game, but we want to understand where a spiritual block comes from. And if we grew up in a family that we weren't allowed to find ourselves because we were too busy surviving, worrying about whether our parents were able to pay their bills, whether the bills were paid, whether or not we had what we needed. The gift of style is all about your unique creativity, your unique individuality, how you find balance, how you're able to go with the flow of life. And that's through your passion for life. So, why I was talking about that first chakra first, which because that first chakra and second chakra work together, that we know. Again, that first chakra is all about your your connection to the earth, your connection to your physical body, your connection to God, your connection to again what connects you to life, to why are you here, and that's again to give and receive of love through your free will. And knowing what your free will is, a lot of people don't know what that is, and that's because it's you'd find it through your gift of style. So if we haven't found our gift of style, we're not really strong within ourselves, because money has no energy except for the energy that you give it. So this is saying again, the gift of style could be that someone is finding their true individuality, and they are. And this is where it says that God makes a way where there is no way, just for you. Hey, Wendy, I was talking about just channeling about the word of the day, how the gift of style, and the gift of style is all about your unique unfoldment process of finding yourself. Now I'm going to use you as an example because I've done your reading before, and so when you're stuck in like this connection, or this like feel like there's still a spiritual cord with a relationship that didn't give you what you needed, um, and you're like, well, I don't care even about that anymore. I just want to meet someone else, and I just want to find someone else. What spirit always says is, if that is an experience that has happened to you before, which we know that it has, that's why I said I'm going to use you as an example, because you're a great example. But you'll also learn and understand when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So you need to hear whatever I have to say today, Wendy. And then you're able to ask me whatever questions like that you want to ask me, obviously. But if you show up on the page, it means that you're open to hearing what spirit has to say to you, right? I mean, let's face it, because there's always that lower part of ourselves that's like, I want to know what he thinks of me. I want to know like whether or not there's going to be some change in my relationship. I want to know, and that's normal. There'd be something wrong with you if you didn't if you didn't want that, because we all desire that. But then there's the spiritual aspect, which this is more of a spiritual channel, because when you have a spiritual block within relationships, and we know that you have a spiritual block within relationships and other things because of the fact that you didn't come from support, feeling supported, and that's always been your theme. And then within relationships, there's always a sense of like abandonment, and a sense of not emotionally getting what you need, or being attracted to people that emotionally can't give you what you need. And then what I was saying is, a lot of times we'll see that we have an intimacy issue because we ourselves are attracting someone that has an intimacy issue. So we're like, okay, after a while, we're like, I don't give a fuck what the hell I have. Just how the hell can I get rid of it? Because I want to have a better life. And really, that's what this challenge is all about. It's about integrating the spiritual lesson. So I have to do this part of the reading, and I always have to channel, because otherwise it's just feeding the ego part of self, but you'll be stuck on a hamster wheel of experiencing the same type of experience, where relationships then become like a hamster wheel, like almost like a roller coaster. Is it going to work out? Is it going to work out? Oh, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, and that's that you can't. You got to find balance. That first and second chakra, why I was talking about that first and second chakra, was again your connection to yourself, your connection to the earth, your connection to God, your connection to every single being on the planet. And that's really, you find that through your gift of style. You want to break your karmic cycle with keep attracting people that don't give you anything. Understand, you may attract that person. Those people go to everyone, but being able to weed them out because of your boundaries, without feeling bad, without feeling like rude, without feeling like you have to apologize. Because again, Wendy, I know you, I don't know you, but I know you. I know your energy, like that you're overly nice. And so, and now maybe you're like, well, now I'm just like not anything. I don't give anything. Where at one time you were like too nice. And so, if someone that you do care about comes into your life, you might have the bad way of overgiving, overdoing. So, how do we find our balance? I was talking about that person's second chakra, and that first and second chakra is again your support. So remember, if you didn't feel like you got enough love growing up, and again, it's not, doesn't need to be real. We're looking at it through the child self, the perception. We, parents have a reason why they do what they do. They grew up in a certain environment. They lived certain things. Their beliefs were certain things. So this is never a blame game. This is just a, I was taught that the way that they were taught, and it didn't work for me. And spirit would say, well, that's because you live in a different world than they lived in. And, you're not them. They're different. So you have to find your gift of style. And your gift of style comes through doing. Mastery comes in doing, but you can't do that unless you found yourself. So instead of trying to find that relationship, you have to again find yourself. And that's an unfoldment process, and it's an uncomfortable process, because if you didn't get the love and support and you were told you need to do it this way, you need to go to this school, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way, then you were never really, like, again, were able to like figure it out on your own. Or if you were like, no, I had to figure out everything on my own. But when you're a kid and you don't have any support at all, then you're always going to come from a fear base, because kids don't know what the hell they're doing. They're I don't know, and they're also are dealt with from an authority figure, like, well, where's your parent? Like, why are you here? So, so you're like, well, I'm here because my parents at work, and I was told I was screamed at by my mother to be here. That this is what I had to do. Right. So, which understand there's a sense of that root chakra not being healed. Right. You were an adult before you're an adult, and not a good adult, because you had anxiety. You were stressed out. There was a sense of, I don't trust. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. It never works out. I'm not good enough. It won't be, because that the survival mind, the reptilian mind is all about survival, and your survival, Wendy, was that. It was all about needing to be safe. And so we can't be in that. Spirit says, no, you have to again be like childlike. You have to find yourself. You have to reprogram yourself. And the way that you would reprogram yourself is not by having a relationship right now. Doesn't mean, however, that by interacting in everything that you do, you shouldn't meet people and go out with them. All these people, what it means is no serious relationships. Why? Because you're finding yourself. And if you're a highly sensitive person, with someone, if you were a child trying to figure things out, you would be, because you would have already programmed your nervous system to respond in survival unconsciously, because Just because you're not a kid anymore, you haven't changed. You haven't integrated certain behaviorisms. So the way that you deal with stress is the same. The way that you view life is the same. Everything's the same. So the program continues to be the same, which is why, again, the gift of silence. Again, I look at the wounds. So I'm going to pick out the card and say it from a negative perspective, because really this is a positive card, which is, again, all about finding yourself, having a love affair with yourself. How do you know what you like? If you only had chocolate and vanilla ice cream, you'd be like, well, shit, hands down, it's chocolate every time. But then you bring over like mint chocolate chip, Rocky Road, then you're like, well, wait a minute. Now I have more choices. Like, not so fast. It's like, and now the more choices I have, the more like I'm going to want more flexibility, right? Unless, and I'm telling you from a relationship perspective, when a guy or girl, because again, we're looking at energies, and a lot of times a woman can have a lot of male energies. And so when it's out of balance, there's a sense of, I want to try every single flavor, what makes you great. And really, what it is a person, first of all, has to come to a place where they've already like done, like dated, sowed their oats, tried every flavor of ice cream there has been, and extinguished that, and want to feel something different and know something different, which is a deeper connection. And that takes time, because when you're meeting a person, they're talking to like a lot of people, because everyone's like, I'm protecting my heart. And people tend to come from a strategic perspective. They're not coming in with an open heart. You're coming in with an open heart. Wendy's like, here I am. And then you're like, well, I don't understand. I feel like I don't know how to play the game. And really, it's for women, I don't never think that, again, and for anybody really, but for, especially if you're a lady, like, you want to be ladylike, you want to express that essence. And that's why I said, some men want to express that essence, and that's cool. But you want to come from your truth. You want to be able to always come from your truth, and that comes through your gift of style. And your gift of style is, again, having a love affair with yourself, that you're giving yourself love first. And there's still a sense of, I don't feel guided. When I tap into you and Wendy, you're like, I'm still like an ocean, a boat out in the middle of the ocean, like without an anchor. I don't really have. Sorry. And that doesn't need to be, because really the Holy Spirit's inside of you, and everybody is psychic. Everybody is intuitive. Everybody has that power to tap into their divine essence. The gift of style is all about that spirit, which is God, that supernatural part of self, which I talked about in the beginning of this, which I said there's the soul that's attached to God, and then there's the spirit, which is your spirit, which is supposed to come from this. Finding yourself, hobbies, interests. Sorry, tickle in my throat. Hobbies, interests, things that you like to do, your passions, so that you can set appropriate boundaries. Well, otherwise, you can't tell the difference between your energy, their energy. You're too worried about being liked, and remember, you don't have a good memory of feeling loved and supported. So you're like, I want to feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. But that doesn't come from being outside people making you comfortable. It comes from the fact that you need to make yourself comfortable. And you can learn how to get comfortable. Anyone can learn how to get comfortable when we have developed the gift of style. Otherwise, your relationships are always going to be off. you're always going to give too much because you're going to try to strategize. And it's not like that. We have to be able to go with the flow of life. The world is ever changing. If we're not grounded enough. See, like I said, feeling connected to yourself means intuitively in the now, in the moment, you get guidance to act. But it's not because you're focused on what you're trying to deal with, or if you have a block, and you do, around relationships. See, like I said, you're only having a relationship with yourself, the universe, and yourself. Everyone else is a reflection of yourself. You might say, well, that person's an asshole. But if that person triggered you, well, that's because, again, you need to heal those certain aspects of yourself. How do you deal with that without being triggered? Through the gifts of style. Your choice of focus is your greatest tool. So when you're dealing in a relationship too, and you need to like set boundaries because someone's not really respecting your boundaries, because people tend to like to push the limits to see what they can get away with. And if you're dealing with an immature person, they're always going to do something to try and trigger you, to get you to react emotionally, and because they don't feel comfortable in having a conversation. And so, like I said, you want to raise your vibration. So, and so, because you can't change the outside world, you can't change what's going to come to you. You need to master it in order for new energy to come into your life. Because what we resist persists. You're getting the spiritual lesson, and there's a part of you that's like, I don't really feel safe. You don't feel safe really because there isn't a connection to God, and there isn't really a connection to yourself. Meaning there's no plan. I don't really know what's going to happen. It's like there's a lot of chance what can happen, and I don't feel safe, and I don't really feel connected to like a community or to like people like the way that you would want. I'm not saying you don't have friends. What I'm saying is that there's an uncomfortableness that comes from, again, creating yourself. And in the reading, I'm feeling, again, whoever I'm tapped into, you may be connected to someone that hasn't created themselves, or you yourself hasn't on some aspect. So we have to understand where shadows come from. Shadows come from parts of ourselves that we think are like broken, parts of ourselves that we don't like, parts of ourselves that we perceive as defective. How did that happen? Well, through an experience. What kind of experience? A spiritual experience. So why do you have soulmates? Again, you have soulmates to teach you these lessons. So soulmate, any soul relationship, you're gonna again feel that there's a connection. So when people say, am I supposed to be with them or I'm not supposed to be, it's your spiritual relationship. You are supposed to be with that person. It's a divine connection, but it was to learn. So you're in physical form to learn and to manifest. You may be like, what the fuck am I learning? And so you're supposed to be learning you're not separate from God, which is unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. And when I'm talking about the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, and the laws of the universe, they're all the same thing. See, to raise our vibration to the most purest energy, it's of unconditional love. So the biggest lesson is all about forgiveness, which is really difficult. But we can transcend the limitations of our mind by raising our consciousness, by understanding the reason why certain things happen. That's why, and for Wendy and for whoever else, again, the gift of style is the fact that that root chakra is your connection to yourself, and your connection to the earth is really off, because like I said, you're really only having a relationship with yourself and the universe, and so you're just like, well, how was that? Well, if you were told what to think, how to think, and again, parents had best interests. This isn't a blame game, or that's what everybody did. Everybody just went to college, and then after everyone went to college, they got their job, and then everyone goes on Tinder, everyone goes on this. So it's like it's not a one size fits all. See, again, your unique individuality is, again, your expression. You're here as an expression of God, which is unconditional love. The way that you decide to express it is your free will. That's how you get your daily bread. That's how you find balance and are able to really go with the flow of life. The gift of style is your passion for life. Why is this important? Well, any person that comes into your life that you ever relate that you're like attracted to, you want to have another passion to keep your mind to balance. Your choice of focus is your greatest tool when dealing with a person that doesn't want to bend. If someone knows that you like them so much, they're like, oh, you like me so much, I don't really have to do anything. You're just gonna like, oh, feel sorry for me, and you'll take me back, and I just say I'm sorry. And people get cocky. No, disrespect. That becomes a second chakra imbalance, meaning now I'm pissed off. And I feel like something like, again, with me, you're making me feel like there's something wrong with me, and spirit says, no one should be able to make you feel that way. Ding, 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 ding. This person has came into your life to show you something. And so you say, well, what am I supposed to do? And the spirit says, integrate the spiritual lesson. You want to heal the shadow. You want to change and break the karmic cycle. You have to do something different. Again, have a love affair with yourself. This person's already a soul relationship. They have unconditional love for you too. Their ego is bigger. You're dealing with someone that has a bigger ego than you do. And you can't fight fire with fire. What did Martin Luther King say? You can't take an eye for an eye, then the whole world goes blind, something like that. Like, it's more or less like you gotta do it with love, meaning my life is so great, I'm so happy. It's like, because you got to trigger the person's ego, like, what the fuck, are you having a good time without me over here? I'm over here and you're having a good time, and I know that you're having a good time because I don't feel your energy. Because remember, psychic connection, ESP is through the heart and mind. So you, again, when you're dealing with a person, there's no talking involved. They already know what they fucking do. Everybody knows what they fucking do when they disrespect. And they're going to test the boundaries. So you'd be like, I don't understand. I was just treating you the way that I want to be treated. Gift to style. Find your style, your passion, your unique individuality. That's the first and second chakra. Again, I'm in my body. I'm able to go with the flow. I got balance. So again, my choice of focus is my greatest tool, because love can't be manipulated. Not manipulating anything. You're going where the love is. You're training a person to how much you're giving them. Again, that sends a message. And understand they might be like, well, I don't care. And they might start talking to other people. Listen, there's only one you. So I can't be afraid to lose them. And you can do that if you have passion. Because guess what? There's other people, situations, your third eye is open. You're like, well, I can see how Bobby over there would ask me out. Oh, yeah? How is that? Well, I go to the donut raffle every Tuesday, and he's sitting right next to me, always offering me half his donut, And when, I had to train fuckhead over here because they're not treating me right, when they came in and they saw me sitting here with Bobby over here, they wanted to know why I was having a good time at the donut raffle and who the hell the person was that I was sitting next to. Meanwhile, he's married, he has kids. It's, again, perception. Perception is, I don't need you. I don't need you. Respect. It's not about love, it's about respect. Second chakra balance. When there is no gift to style, what you're telling somebody is, I don't really have passion. And so we're going to see how that plays out, because that's not good energy. That means I'm always like at the shit end of the stick with this person. And it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. Let's see what they care. Because just because a person does that doesn't mean that they don't care. Remember, they want the power. But you can't let the ego And that's where a lot of times people come in. They've been hurt before. They're like, I don't really want to be vulnerable. I don't trust you. This is what it means that you need to heal yourself before you get into another relationship, because you tend to bleed all over the person. And understand there's a bunch of people out there that are wounded, that are bleeding all over everyone. So you need to know how to not get wounded from their wounds. It's almost like think of a wound almost like COVID, like a like a virus. Like you got sick, so now you made me sick, and that's what spiritually sick is. It's like, well, because you hurt me, and I'm allowed to do this to you. And so understand that doesn't mean that that person doesn't have a love part of self. Because again, everybody has a dust part of self, which is a part of self that when you look in the mirror, that's who you identify with. And everybody has a spirit part of self that they say, it's again, oh, we have unconditional love. I don't need to know you to have empathy for what you're going through, to feel for you, to know. Again, we are all the same, but we're all different. So understand that spirit part of self is what you recognize with a person, but they could be really blocked, and you'd be like, so why is God bringing me this person? Why is the universe bringing the spirit saying you need healing? You're like, I need that much healing. Mine doesn't look like that shit. And spirit's saying, well, it's all about confidence. I don't look at whether it's a little wound or whether it's a big wound. Wound goes to wound. So if you don't really know who you are and you're giving too much, you're going to be with somebody that's shady. It's like, again, there's only two energies. You speak to me through music. So, when I see this, it's like, so I would say you're in separation. I'm getting a vibe of separation. I'm getting a vibe of, I like you, but I'm emotionally immature. And I would be emotionally immature too, because I never learned to ask for what I need. I never, again, we create the world with our voice. God made us in his image. Remember, you too can create the world with your voice by setting appropriate boundaries, by saying what you need. This person, I feel like, is a stalker. I don't react when people mention you. See, I fucking knew it. Like, again, emotionally immature, and this is bad energy, is going to trigger the shit out of you if you have abandonment issues. Just so that you would be like, because the person's like, I'm not going to do anything, but I'm going to deliberately trigger you so you react, so I know that you like me. So the best thing to do is do not react. Do not react, because watch, they will react. And you can do it, again, if you are in this energy. You can do it. I'm telling you, you can. You'd be amazed. I will wait for a sign from you. Like, they want you to reach out to them because they have like a big ego. And that's what I was saying. I said, just because a person acts like an asshole doesn't mean that that's what they're thinking or really truly feeling. That's what I mean. The wound. How broken are you? What are we dealing with here? Is what we want to know, because then we'll be like, when I pull the real doozies of, well, like, what the hell did you do? Like, what are the triggers? Like, because understand, if you're not reacting, this person triggers, gets triggered, or you may get triggered, So, I mean, yeah, but again, Wendy, it's like this person, understand too, if you're dealing with someone that has a really big ego, it means they're really insecure. And you may be like, I gave you so many signs I could do everything, and including, I was going to say something really graphic, but I won't. Like, sit on your face, like, and you still wouldn't notice, where I was at. Because again, there's a sense of the inward, and I'm not and sabotaging. Like, I may know it, but I need that extra recognition. I need to be fed. I need my ego to be fed. And that means that there's a lack. That means that there's a wound there. It doesn't mean that there's no energy there. And the issue is, you can't just get rid of a wound and replace it with a relationship. You have to integrate it. So that person, you may be like, it's so obvious, so fucking obvious. And Spirit's saying, yeah, but they sabotage themselves. That's a trigger. If you're dealing with the shadow, you know the person has sabotaging behaviorisms. You know that. You also know if they have a second chakra imbalance that they didn't take the time to really get to know you. They might have an intimacy issue, and as long as it was hot and passionate, it was good. But the moment that it gets into a regular monogamous everyday relationship, they get bored, which meant that you were too available. The gift of style. I don't know where the fucking card is. I put it back. But it's like that. It's like your choice of focus, because it's like, oh, and the moment that intuitively that you feel that someone is not, instead of being like, okay, now we have to have that talk, it's like, no, we're not going to do that talk. Because again, if you're dealing with a soul mate or a soul family, you're going to feel different from moment to moment. That's why they say love makes you crazy. You'll be like, that motherfucker, I'm going to fucking run him over with my car to, oh, it's really not that bad. I feel bad for them. And trying to look at it through their perception, to then being like, no, motherfucker, you're going to like pay. You know what I mean? It's like, and then cry and then get frustrated. So again, we don't want that energy. That winds up, that's crazy energy, and it's easy to get that energy. And if anything, we would rather them have that energy than us. You'd really rather not have anyone do it, because a person that winds up getting all emotional like that, they usually get feed on drama. They like drama. Remember, anything that feeds the ego, it's like, oh, it's excitement, it's artificial. It's like, oh, look how much like you care about me. And it's like, meanwhile, you're like, okay, like how did I wind up in this fucking circus? It's like, and like, really, because you didn't notice. If they're your only sense of passion, well, then, people will hold on to you any which way. And it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. It's like, I have feelings. I want things my way, and you may not be giving things my way. So it's a way that I'm going to manipulate you. And so I'm so busy trying to one up you that I'm not paying attention to what's really happening, what I'm doing. And so this is why I'm saying that people that get wounded, it's like you're like not there. They're not there. They're not present. So I'm just curious, like, past lover, the display of affection. Oh, and this is like a manipulative tactic too. So like the display of affection you have towards your former partner triggers my insecurities. So you might have been like, and it doesn't even mean that the person was showing affection. You might be like, I feel like they're stuck in the bad past relationship that I'm paying for, is what is like what you got caught up in, what people tend to be have a crutch on. And then there's a sense too of, well, how come you can express your love and your affection for someone of the past, but you can't me? So it's again telling you that you're not lovable, again making you feel that way, when it's like that person wasn't able to give love when that person was with that person. They're able to do it now because the person fucking hates them. And that's why, like, has already been through the roof, and it's like, I don't really care what you say, because you already fucked me over enough. So it's like that. So of course there's absolutely not a chance in hell that the relationship can resurrect itself. So that's why they are able to do that. They just know that you don't know that. So again, I'm doing everything for the reaction. I'm strategizing. You see, I'm strategizing, not coming from the heart. Not coming from the heart. And then it's like, we're going to figure out why the fuck that this is happening to you, because we have to enough. I had enough of your bad temper and disrespect. So I feel like, sometimes bad temper is done passive aggressively too. So sometimes not always yelling and screaming. You might have grown up with like a parent that was yelling and screaming, and or like really showed their emotion, but someone that continues to get you to be angry is someone that is very angry, because why would you be trying to make me angry? Misery loves company. So a lot of times people, they don't realize that they're even doing it. So you may be connected to someone that's like, I don't even realize that I'm not angry, because it's a habit, the way that we respond. So if the person grew up with a parent that was abusive, which, understand, if the person wasn't allowed to create themselves on some level, they don't know who they are. So, which they have really no business trying to get into a serious relationship, or they need to continue to find themselves while being in a relationship, because it's not one or the other. It's about finding balance. Because when you really meet that person, you still need to set appropriate boundaries. And that's through, I'm not always around, not always around. So that's why I'm saying it's like, it's really important. Okay, and so we see that, and then we see spirit addict. So again, this is, it might be seen as you, like spirit addict, like, because like the person didn't make you feel comfortable, you always feel like you need to get readings, like you always need to try and navigate, which, so you're strategizing too, kind of in a roundabout way. This person thinks that they can outsmart you, right? Where you're like, I don't think that I can outsmart anybody. I just don't want to get hurt. So I might get like readings and want to know like what you're gonna do, what they're gonna do. So they're saying you're both mirroring each other. There's a sense of insecurity there, because we shouldn't have to be reliant on. And so we see with that this person is not making you feel comfortable, when truth of the matter is, if you have a connection with someone, they like you already. It's not like they don't like you. There's the illusion that we can do something that they won't like, right? There's the illusion. I mean, not an illusion. There's an illusion that they're going to just automatically stop liking us. A person can stop liking a person, not if you're respecting yourself. It means if they can do that, that meant that the relationship was never real. Like, love can't be broken. It can't be manipulated. It can't be destroyed. People try to do that. The ego tries to do that. The ego puts rules on love when really there is no boundary. There is no, when we're talking about the spiritual realm, when we're talking about love. So the sense here, what I would say for spirit addict is, and it's easy for this because it's like, well, I need to feel safe. I need to feel comfortable. Like, and this relationship doesn't make me feel that way. It always brings me to a place of wanting answers, because really the person is like, not, doesn't say anything. Of course, they don't say anything. They don't react when over anything. They're like a mummy, because they want you to react. So they can feel that it stirs the energy up. And that's why I said spirit addict, what it would say is, you need to get strong within yourself, because you're sensitive. I mean, I know you, Wendy, you're sensitive, but I'm sure anyone that's listening to this that grew up where they also were not allowed to create their gift of style. They give their unique individuality. They weren't able to find their soul's path. They weren't able to find their soul's purpose. I don't care how you call it. Some people call it a job. Some people call it their soul's destiny. Some people call it the reason why you're here, the reason why you want to get up in the morning, the reason why you want to take a breath, the reason why, period. That is like what needs to come first before a person, before a situation. You find that through the creating of yourself. That's through feeding what you love. And understand that's not going to feel good when you are in a place of, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I should work. I should make money. I should, I should go to self-help. I should do this, I should do that. No. What you should do is have a love affair with yourself. Is again, find yourself. Be like childlike. There's a reason why they say that, because children don't have a perception of what the unfoldment process looks like, how they have to accomplish getting what they want. They don't care. They don't care if they want to say that they're living in a tree house and they don't have a real tree house. They might then say, well, there's a cardboard box. I'm going to drag that box and I'll put it in my backyard. And so I don't have a tree house, but I have a fort, or I have a little house, a box house. I'll compromise. I'll use whatever is in the environment, that no matter how broken it is, or no matter like how like whatever it is, for what I can utilize it for. Is it perfect? No, there's no such thing as perfect. You're utilizing what you can utilize for, again, to create yourself, to grow yourself, and to allow your intuitive mind to direct you. Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You don't have to say, well, I don't know what to do next. You're not moving you. The divine, the universe conspires to bring you what you need. So the gift of style is all about that, is understanding who you are on a soul level. Meaning, do you feel strong within yourself? Because understand, that's how you create strength and real success within your outer world. The perception is that we can create strength within our outer world by doing things on the outside. The ego will tell us that. It'll say, you need to live in a better house, you need to drive a certain car, work a certain job, look a certain way, be a certain way. You're perfect the way that you are, and it doesn't matter what culture, it doesn't matter what race, and it doesn't matter what gender, and it doesn't matter what any of it. It's like you are divine. If you have a pulse and you breathe, you were meant to be here. You're not here by mistake. You're here by God's grand design. And so understanding how you fit in the grand design, what do you do? What is your contribution? And so there's a shift happening within the world right now. And part of the shift is happening because you also need to shift certain things within your mind. You wouldn't be born during this time. You wouldn't attract the soul mates and those type of people into your life that could teach you a different way. You wouldn't be able to find balance. This isn't heaven. So what this is, again, prepares us for heaven. And it's through, again, going through these experiences to learn unconditional love, to learn how to surrender, to learn how to persevere, to learn how to have, confidence and self-love, and to, all these, the higher character traits, the highest vibration of character traits, which is unconditional love, which is why you, Wendy, attracted that person. And so understand, and then this is how it made you feel, and that's how it would trigger. But then we say, okay, so then tell us something we don't know. Tell us something that we don't know about the relationship before, again, my own healing. Like, what does the person think now? What is the person gonna do? What is the person like? They think about it at all? Did the person they not think about it at all? Like, can you tell us anything? I feel the chemistry between us. We need to trust that the energy we share will bring us back together again. So maybe again, that there's that soul, when it's a soul relationship, it's again, there is that chemistry, right? And so that is the unconditional love, and that can't be broken. and it can't be, and it can't be like manipulated. And so what I think that the higher self, if this person, you'd be like, well, this person isn't thinking shit. Well, the higher self knows that this was a soul connection, is what I'm feeling. The same way that you knew that it was a soul connection. And that a soul connection doesn't necessarily mean that you're supposed to be with this person. It's the divine connection came into your life to teach you. However, could it work out? Yes, there's many different levels of, layers of there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness determines your reality. So what this is saying is that if you both can get to a place where you surrender and get to a place of unconditional love. Unfortunately, you, Wendy, you feel like you get to the point by the time that this person would get there, you'd be like, I'm so over you. I'm so over you. Like I met somebody else and I'm just so over you. Because for a long time you held on, and for a long time, and you're getting to the point where you're like, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. And it's because it's like that person's arrogance, that person's arrogance. And it's because I can't show you. And that's why you'd be like, fuck you. Like I said, the energy level gets to that, like we can feel like the rage, but understand that energy isn't just from this person. It's not just, I know I can feel it through the computer. Like, so it's like I said, but you wouldn't have that anger if there wasn't the chemistry. Remember, fine line between love and hate. So, so that's why I know, but that's where your power is. It's like then to put your energy in completely in yourself and know then most likely when you go out, you'll meet people, right? I mean, once you join things, you meet people. You have to get to the point of joining things that you're really gonna love, really gonna like, so you don't give a shit who you meet, who you don't meet, because you might not meet a person in a class. You might meet a person on the way to class. You might meet a person on the way. Hey, I stopped at the deli on the way to class, and that's when I met that person. You don't know. You just vibing at the frequency of unconditional love, where you're finding yourself, you're growing yourself, you're feeding yourself. You'll meet a person that matches that energy. People that feed themselves, contribute to themselves, they don't want to just go in and use people. It's like, especially if you can show that you can be in a normal relationship. You know what I mean? It's like that you're not looking to be so codependent. The chemistry was that a lot of times for men scares them, which is why they want it to have the full power, because it's like, well, there's chemistry there, which means that I care too much and then do too much, and so I want everything on my terms, which is why you were like, it was so unfair and so triggering. But it definitely goes back to giving yourself the love. And there's a lesson to be learned from this, literally. So this person came into your life mainly for that lesson. Well, and the truth of the matter is that he was controlling also through a very passive aggressive way, because he never got, you know, he hasn't healed. So the more that he was gonna go into relationships and keep creating this and did not get a good response from you, the more that would happen. So I want to just see what would be the healing advice, because it's a bummer. Like there's nothing. It's a lesson. It's like, oh great, a fucking lesson. Like I'm just learned with the lesson. I'm not happy like with that answer. Like it's like, what? Give me jealousy. So again, jealousy. So that could be like you're easily jealous. Maybe again, the lesson comes in the fact of lack. Maybe you're being triggered from like the fact that other people can be in relationships and you feel like you can't. We're really spirit saying It all goes back to the same thing, which, and especially since you got jealous. And the reason why is because it's about doing for yourself. When we get jealous, there's a sense of I can't have that. You may, which again, a place of lack. Like there's not enough to go around when really spirit's saying there's plenty to go around. Like you haven't found your style. So until you can come to that and I'm going to talk to you from an empath's perception, because the feeling perception is the language that we know. And so when it's easy, right, because that's the way it would be meant for you to feel that it's unfair. It's like when really spirit's saying, yes, if you look at it through that perception, you're like, well, what other perception am I supposed to look at it? And spirit says you're supposed to do something different so that you get a different response. Otherwise, you're going to stay in that karmic theme, which is how you felt like when you were growing up. I wasn't like, so it wasn't supported. I wasn't like, yeah, I was loved, but it was like not the love that I needed, not the love that where I felt supported. It's like I want the love that makes me feel supported. I feel like I can't have that. And God says you can have that, but you need to do it for yourself first. When you do it for yourself, it will happen, but you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent and join things where you're going to meet people, because you first might meet like other girls, other girlfriends, other just friends, period. And then what'll happen is interaction of life and just raising your vibration. It'll happen. It's like the issue of feeling I can't have it is like it's making me feel like it's never going to happen. And really, it's spirit saying that's your spirit saying, I know I have to do something different. I know I have to, there's something here that's not working. That's your higher self saying, nah, it's not going to work this way. And then you're like, well, fuck, it's not working this way. I know that it's not going to work this way, but I don't have an answer of why it's not working. That's why. That's why we do these readings here. Because what spirit is saying is, there is. There is. It's like there is. It's all about like, well, when a person doesn't react, when people to speak to you, and when they look for signs and intuitiveness, it's a lot of back and forth tapping into each other's intuition instead of being able to communicate. And so understand, then that's also a sign for you that you're getting a person like that because you're like that. And then it's also, you might be like, well, I'm not as bad. Well, it doesn't matter because there's only two energies, love and fear. So it's not a little fear or a big fear. And it's about doing for yourself, because this person from day one showed you, I don't know how to give. From day one, they didn't show that they cared enough. And that's what we know, because they were always on guard, which meant that you came in over giving to compensate for that. But that will always leave you in a place of feeling jealous, like, because it's like you don't do anything. It's like I wound up doing everything, and then none of it was good enough, and then you didn't fucking stay in anyway. So what the fuck? And when really like the issue wasn't you, but you're like, no, but that's the theme. That's how it makes me feel. And spirit says, uh-huh. Why is anything able to make you feel that way? Because I didn't make you that way. You're like, no, I'm sure this is the way that you made. This is the way it came out of the fucking box. And the spirit's like, no, that's not the way it came out of the fucking box. It's like that's the way that you put it together after the cat knocked it over. It's like, and you lost the fucking directions and possibly half the fucking things that made it to put together to begin with. So you put it together the best way you know how, but that's not the way. It's a perception. And it's a perception through the fact of what you're living, You're like, no, I'm living it. I know. And spirit's saying, yeah, that's your reality, but you don't need to live that reality. You're the person living the reality. It's like you're the person in charge of your life. This person just came into your life to show you what you were feeling. You're like, you wouldn't have stuck around long enough. This person wouldn't have impacted you if you weren't attracted, if there wasn't good chemistry. No one would give a shit. They'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't find you attractive. I don't really care. There's no chemistry. So, you don't like the fact that I do XYZ. I don't give a shit. It's like, because I don't really care. But if you have chemistry with the person, then you're like, oh shit, like I like the person. It's like all of a sudden you become somebody else. It's like, all like, oh no, I never do that. That never happens. I don't know why that happened that time. It's like it'll never happen again. You become somebody else. Where, like I said, that's what this person felt. So they were so guarded. But this is making them look at themselves because you walked away. So it's not like you're just not there to experience the well, where's the gratification in that? I don't see them crying. If I saw them crying, then I'd be a little happy. Where I'm like, that person lives their misery, and that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, blinded to pain. It's like it doesn't even want to try. And that's like when a person's wounded, they really need to go into a situation, it, and heal themselves. They need to, if they're going to go into the situation, they need to say like that, I'm planning on being with you, but I need to heal myself. I'm not, you need to be patient. You need to be slow. You need to be, but they need to put effort in. And the suggestion also would be, if a person is really wounded, and there's aspects of them that wouldn't know how to heal. We can create new neurological pathways in our mind by doing new things, by experiencing new experiences. Your environment creates your reality. So when you're with somebody that doesn't give love, and in this story, and for Wendy, and for anyone else that was listening, to be connected to someone that emotionally doesn't give to you, that it creates a lot of pain and it affects the spirit. So it's hugely important, because how you manifest is through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So being around someone that doesn't make you feel lovable or appreciated obviously makes it difficult to manifest the life experiences. So you wouldn't be able to tolerate that if you were creating yourself. Like, again, the gift of style is all about your unfoldment process, having a love affair with yourself, letting spirit lead you through your gut, intuition, inner knowing. It's balance. It is balance, because there's a lot of hours in the day. In order to be balanced, it's not just about work. It's not just about being by yourself. It's about connecting to like-minded people. It's about what's your flavor, what's your essence, what's your passion. And that can be where your choice of focus is when you deal with a difficult person. Or if, God forbid, you're working and you have to deal with an asshole at work, you deal with them through your choice of focus. And understand you can be more balanced in the way you deal with people when you yourself are balanced. And what this said was, this person is not balanced at all, because they're not balanced at all. And they're not balanced if they don't want to feel their emotions, and when they don't want to talk about anything, and they just do things to get a reaction. And it triggers you that you got to go get readings all the time, where you seem like you're addicted to readings because this person doesn't want to have a conversation. We know that you're on two totally different vibrations. And this is what it said. It said that why this happened was because it was really just a spiritual lesson. You needed to learn it. And unfortunately, we have to go through the experience till we integrate it, till we pass it. And then when we pass it, it's like we tell the universe, hey, I'm ready for new energy. However, You need to again be interactive in life through your gift of style, through your passions, through your unique individuality, what makes your heart sing. Be interactive so that you can again meet new people that are going to show you appreciation, that are going to, again, at least give you support in the beginning. It's not uncommon for you to meet your friends and like minded people first before you meet your relationship. And then the key is don't lose those really new relationships just because that relationship came into your life. Your life needs to be look like a pizza pie where you go with the flow of life because you're balanced within your life. And if someone or something happens that emotionally catches you off guard, your mind is actually in creating, in doing, in what you love. So you're always in a high vibration because you don't have control over what other people do. However, you too can manipulate this person. And the way that you do is you cut your energy from them because this person obviously does everything to get a reaction. They're like an energy vampire, not able to express, doesn't feel good about relationships, like is blinded by pain, only sees everything through the distorted perceptions of their past relationships. And because of that, they will always keep whoever they're with in a place of feeling lack, feeling like they don't have enough, feeling like other people can have, but I don't have. And that really spirit saying, no, that's me telling you again that you deserve better because your ego is saying, well, I why don't I have that? And spirit says, well, you can have that. Somebody making you feel as if you can't, you're like, yeah. Well, then spirit says, well, then they're not your person. They're a lesson. They felt the chemistry. Don't kid yourself. It's not about that. It's about you, again, being like, bye, because this person has a big head because they go for low hanging fruit. And most people don't know their worth. And most people put up with it. That's why this person did what they did to you. They felt like they could, not because of you, but because of them. But however, you gave them too much. So we will not do that again. And I'm going to end that there. I hope that that was helpful. I know that, Wendy, I know definitely know that you got something out of that and you need to, again, take that advice. I hope whoever else landed on this, takes the wisdom from it. Because, like I said, whether or not it's with this relationship or your next relationship, unfortunately, until you learn it, you will always get the same lesson again. You're welcome, Wendy. And I want to also share, check out my shadow healing coaching program. I have a 3 system program. It's inner child healing, shadow coaching, and reparenting. I teach all the healing modalities that will help you deal with the effects of psychic trauma. Psychic trauma is created from all trauma. Again, it makes us see ourselves different, makes us feel not safe within ourselves. And it's really the behaviorisms and habits that block us from creating our own heaven on earth. So, again, understand you are a divine being. You can have the life that you want. You just have to, again, learn to heal yourself and understand healing sometimes like it's a process and it's not uncommon to experience anxiety and depression. So breath work, meditation, EFT, NLP, and a lot of other healing modalities you learn. And also understand one size doesn't fit all. So you will learn the healing modality that works best for you. And when you're in a different situation long after YouTube days, long after you're not on my channel, hopefully you will be able to take the practices that you learn and integrate them in everyday life because that's what it's about. It's about having the tools to navigate your life successfully. The issue when we get psychic trauma is we begin not to trust ourselves. And really, it's all about learning to trust yourself. And you should need to do that in a fun way. All right. I'll talk to you guys all soon. Bye bye.